All right. Okay, I think you can do better than that. So you have to be a bit louder because these guys are nervous. There's too many people in here, so I want you to make a bit more noise. I also want the people at the back to come forward. So if you're at the back at the table, you're going to experience nothing but listen to my annoying New Zealand accent. So if you want to experience this afternoon some VR from the kids, I need you to come forward to the seats. But the organisers have told me, do not move the seats. So please come forward, but sit in the groups, but don't move the seats. So all the people that are at the back, sleeping, doing emails, catching up on work from back at school, please come forward. I'll even give you 22 seconds to get up here before we start, because we do only have 29 minutes and 19 seconds left before we get kicked off the stage and move on. Just while people are moving, let me introduce myself, the least important part of today. My name's Craig Kemp. I'm Head of Educational Technology at Stamford American International School. And in front of me are our Techsperts. You can see them on Twitter as well. These guys are Techsperts EDU. TECHSPERTS The Techsperts today are going to share with you the way we integrate virtual reality into our classroom program. We're going to share a tool with you today that is one of many tools that we use to support and integrate learning and make learning exciting. So what's going to happen is a little bit different than we thought it was going to be. It's a little bit bigger. So what's going to happen is I'm going to send these guys off in a moment to the different groups seated at the front. I'm actually going to talk over top of them. So I can also bring in the people who are sitting at the back checking emails, and they can listen to me as well. But I want to build up the energy a little bit because these guys are nervous. You can wave at them and smile at them, take photos of them. Yeah. We are pretty pumped, actually, to be here, and it's a real honor for us to be here. But before I send them off, let me just tell you a little bit about our school. So our school is from pre-nursery to grade 12 across 2 campuses. We have 2,800 students, 400 staff, and we run the IB curriculum, Aero Standards. And today, these guys are going to talk about the ISTE Standards. The ISTE Standards are the standards that we use with technology integration that make the core backbone of what we do. Most importantly, why we do it. Everything we do must come back to a why. Does it add value to student learning? If the answer is no, don't bother. So I'm going to send these guys off, but before I send them to you in your groups, I'm only going to send them off to the groups that are making the most noise. So Techsperts, when I say go, you have to go to a group. You have to go and get your VR headsets, but you're only going to go to the groups that are making the most noise, because I don't want you to go to any groups that don't have energy. Now, if a Techspert doesn't come to you, please get up and just crowd around them. They will speak loud and clear. They're 8 and 9-year-olds, so they're kids, but they're pretty phenomenal kids as well. You have some of these in your schools too. So when I say go, I want you to listen to the loudest groups, take your VR sets and go to a group. I am going to talk over the top, which could be a little bit annoying, but you're just going to have to deal with that a little bit today. Right, you ready? Go. Make the most noise. Some groups over here. This one. This side's a little bit lame. Come on. These guys need to come in. I feel like I'm in a game show. Right, go find a group, guys. Quick. Go find a group. There's some groups over here as well. These guys are even waving at you. Over here. Girls, come this side. Right. Oh, come on, people at the back here. Okay. If a Techspert hasn't come to your group, can I encourage you to stand up and move to an area where the Techsperts are saying, I know there's lots of people here. I only have 10 of them. They're like little robots. I can't make more of them, unfortunately. But I am going to talk over the top of this. If you can't see what the Techsperts are doing, do listen in to me while you put more attention on the students. So this is me and Adam Torrens, who is over here. Adam is an elementary EdTech coach at our school. Also at the front here is Heather Bernard. Wave at us, Heather. Heather is another elementary EdTech coach at our school. Her handle is @TechStarTeacher. Also here today we have Thomas Tran, who's the director of our Innovation Centre. And again, you can follow these guys on @Techsperts.edu. Now, if you want to be tweeting out and sharing today, that's totally fine. We do a lot of it at school. Our hashtag is SAIS Rocks, ROCKS. So you can put that in as well as the EduTECH Asia. So our Techsperts are a group of student leaders. They are in grade 4 and 5, so they're about 9 years old, and it's an application process. This year we had 90 applicants from grade 4 and 5, and we only selected 12. 2 of them are not here today. So out of that 90 people, we put a lot of onus on this. It's an important job within our school. It's a leadership role that our students don't take for granted. They applied, they get a reference from a parent or a teacher, and they come and then we cull them down, and then we get to the point where the students are able to then do a task for us, a tech-related task. These kids are not necessarily the tech gurus of our school. They are the best leaders in our school. They are able to transform what we do and share their passion with others. And that's what we try and do in our school with the EdTech champions, our teachers as well. They're not necessarily the nerds or the tech gurus. They're the people that can help other people make a movement. Because without those people, we can't move forward. So you'll see here today, please, put the camera on the kids. They're way more important than me. You'll see that these guys are talking right now about the ISTE Standards and how the ISTE Standards link to using tools like our VR goggles. Okay, and I'll talk about our VR stuff in a moment. And we are using Google Expeditions today, free app. There are many tools that you can use. Nearpod's another one, hundreds of things you can use. It's important for you to see the why, which is the ISTE Standards. So why should you integrate virtual reality in the classroom? I know there's been a ton of stuff here on virtual reality. I know Stephen Satantra was here talking earlier on about this. And this is sort of from our experience. Having a VR kit really opens up engagement. Kids in classrooms normally use this for maximum of 5 to 10 minutes. It engages them in learning. It gets them excited about what they're doing. They can literally transform themselves to any part of the world. Right now, I think people are starting, let me just have a look where they are. They look like they're in some mountain range. Where are we? We're in some mountain range, I can see here, as the students are showing people. It's being controlled by Adam, so as the teacher, it's being controlled by Adam here on the iPad using the Google Expeditions app. And it's super easy because within the app you can give as much detail or as little detail as you want. You no longer have to be the expert in your classroom. Too often we don't do things because our kids know more than we do. And we try and flip that. We think it's great that these kids know more than we do, so we let them lead learning. So these are the ISTE Standards. This is for those of you that are not around a group of our Techsperts right now, this is the conversation that's happening. These guys know the ISTE Standards inside out. They know the why. They know why they are learning these things. They know why this is a tool that supports them in the classroom. Even now, we find ourselves not going, oh, let's go Google it. Let's go find a cool thing, which was maybe 5 years ago. That's old school for these guys now. Putting on VR goggles is even becoming close to being old school. So it's really exciting when we start bringing in this new technology, and we're not fearful of the new technology. We embrace the new technology because these kids literally know more than we do, and that's pretty cool. I'm not going to go into these in much detail, but the two that they will talk about today are knowledge constructors, which are using them to research, look at the world around you, making sure that you are gathering knowledge, consuming knowledge, and then the digital citizenship, learning how to use them responsibly and respectively. What we're actually stepping into now is the point of trying to do everything we do to move from consuming to creating. We want our students to make and create and be innovative designers. We want them to be able to create things. So we've got 360 cameras, and I have to point out that our school is very resource rich. We're incredibly lucky. But that should not stop you doing any of this. And we'll talk a wee bit about that soon as well. Everything we try and use app-wise, we try and use free apps. as much as possible. Let me just skip on here a little bit. So if you go to my blog, mrkempnz.com, and you type in VR, you will see, Adam and I wrote a blog post, 2 blog posts. One is to do with everything you need. Everything here is on the blog. You can snap photos if you want, or you can go to the blog, whatever suits you. I'll flick through this in a moment. Then another one is all about our why. Why do we do it? How do we do it? How does it impact learning? How does it add value to what we do? Those are both on our blog. So you can go to mrkempnz.com to find those. So this is what we did. We hope there's no Google representatives in here. We went to Google and they said it's going to cost you about $10,000, $11,000 to get a set of 25 of these into your school. And we laughed because there's no way we could afford that. So we went away, got the specs, which are available free on the Google website under the technical specs for using Google Expeditions, and we crowdsourced. We reached out and we bought everything we need ourselves. So we bought some Google Cardboard, a cheap version from a company called I Am Cardboard out of Hong Kong. We bought 25 mobile devices, and we got some Xiaomi mobile phones straight out of China. And everything we purchased, we got a router, and we added in the app and an iPad that we had at school. Everything we got cost no more than $5,500, less than half of the cost of the original package. And the solution we had to moving was a $4 plastic tub from Spotlight. It was as easy as that. We don't need any fancy tool to transport things around. We pick it up or we wheel it and we move it from class to class. Everything we do is mobile. The kids can do it. It's as simple as plug and play. Plug the router into the wall and you're good to go. Even if a teacher is, and everyone has one of these in your school, every school. I'd love to come to your school if you don't have one of these teachers. Every school has the technophobe. Not only the technophobe, but the teacher that will tell you that you're doing something wrong. Because this is the way I've always done things. That's their catchphrase. And I know none of you are that teacher because you're at a conference like this, but every school has them. And even those teachers have no excuse because they don't need to do anything. The kids do it themselves. As you're at the back seeing this, and I'd encourage you to come forward and stand around and have a listen. They're taking them at the moment on a journey, and they're looking, looks like they're in Egypt right now, looking at the pyramids, which is pretty exciting as well. So we can literally take them to over 500 places anywhere around the world. Am I still working here? We are? Okay. To be able to see exactly what we're doing. Okay, that's good. So the Google Expeditions app looks like this. So if you haven't seen it, you can download it for free. It's simple. And the Google Expeditions app is simple. On the right, you can see the teacher piece. So only me as the teacher sees this. Only I see what's going on here. The kids see what is in the middle. Okay, they see just the experience. They see the experience. They look around. They have a 360 view. They don't need to move. They sit. Now, some of the issues with the VR is that it is closed. So you can't walk around, you don't move, and if you get seasick or car sick, you probably get VR sick. So you have some kids that do get sick after a while, some teachers that get sick after a while, but the thing to remember is that this is a tool to engage students in learning. It doesn't replace anything else we do. It brings that excitement to life. It literally puts them in an environment that they could never ever be in, ever. So this is some examples of what it looks like at our school. On the right are like a grade 1 and 2 class looking and using Google Expeditions. You can see the boy with his hands out trying to reach out to what is under the water. And you can see the teacher holding the app with the faces. Wherever the kids look, the faces move. So I can pinpoint where I want them to look and I can see if they're not following me. It's as simple as that. I can pause it to bring back attention and I can play it again when I need to move on. So I am going to stop there as far as talking, because I've done too much talking. But as the kids are showing you, I would like to encourage any questions just over the top to do with our implementation, anything to do with our school, anything to do with our Techsperts program, anything to do with VR. So I think there's a microphone around. If you do have a question, can you just wave at us and we'll do our best to answer it. We have about 15 minutes, so we've got plenty of time to explore. If you are at the back and you want to come experience some of this and listen to our Techsperts, please come forward and have a discussion with them.
Hi, Miguel from the Philippines. I just wanted to check, because you mentioned you bought the Xiaomi phones. Would you recommend that the students themselves bring their own devices?
Yeah, so good question. So around BYOD, we are a one-to-one device school. So all of our kids have iPads in elementary school, one-to-one MacBook program in the secondary school. If you're in a school, our school, we're lucky. Our kids all have mobile devices. So in fact, most schools around the world, no matter how much money they have, most people have phones now. And I was just in Manila working with some people in Manila, and it was the same. I went into private schools, I went to public schools. No matter where I went, people had phones. So depending on money, I would encourage you to BYOD for sure. So it's so easy. As long as they're on the same network, it works. So we actually, with the router, we subdivided, I guess, our network. And I'm no techie, so I can't really tell you how to do the technical part, but we can put you in touch with our IT team to help anyone that needs to help the IT side of things. Basically, we just take a branch off our Wi-Fi and subdivide it so it's our Expeditions Wi-Fi. So that's what we're running off here today, is our router through Expeditions. So it's not the EduTECH Asia Wi-Fi network. It's a piece of that that's just for the Expeditions, because otherwise it gets overloaded. So a BYOD program is fine with a phone. Yeah. Good question.
Hi, I'm Twiggy from Hong Kong. I would like to know, apart from the app that you mentioned using VR, is there others, I guess you can use it with English or language subject. Is there any other subjects that you could also use VR as well?
Yeah, so a question related to curriculum areas and also language, and we use VR. We initially brought it in because it was always said it should be used initially. VR should be used with 18 plus, then it came down to 16 and 13. We use this because it's only used for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, maybe up to 10 max for the engagement factor. We use it all the way down to 3-year-olds and all the way up to our 18-year-olds and across curriculum. So our humanities team use it, our science team use it, because in science, in high school, I can jump into the human body and go inside the lungs and see the lungs and experience that and then start a discussion around it. Or down at the lower level, I can just go and see what another country looks like. So the answer to that is yes. It's so diverse that you can do what you want with. Another good app is Nearpod that I'd encourage you to look at as well. Yeah, Nearpod. Yeah. In math? Yeah, so math, I don't know if we've used it in elementary math, but in secondary math, they've been talking about, one of the examples that was up here on here before was looking at the pyramids. So the students could look at the pyramids and the people standing beside the pyramids and looking at things like depth perception, looking at length, perimeter, and also about scalability. So with the pyramids piece was looking at the scale and the sheer size of them, and then that also tied back into their unit of learning in humanities, where they were looking at the how, like how is this possible to build this in such a short amount of time? Yeah. And all of these ideas as well, I can put people in touch with anyone within our school. Like if you're in a particular department, I can match you up with some of our teachers. And I'll leave our cards out as well. So if you want a card at the end, I'll throw them up on the stage. Any other questions related to the Techsperts or VR? We've got about 10 more minutes left. Adam. Nice. Okay, so you can see that as the teacher, if you've got the VR goggles on right now, you can see that the teacher, who's Adam, has pinpointed a piece here, just trying to find where it is, in the sky, and he's circled a piece. I think they're looking at the ecosystems of Borneo, and he's highlighting smog. So as a teacher, he can now, with the new update, he can write over top of what the kids are seeing, and they can see that in the real world. So I can see here, he's circled a plant, and he's circled palm oil. And that starts a discussion, and he can push the kids into that. So the cool thing is that it has layers now that I can write on top of, and it remains free, which is pretty cool. Our next step, and some of you may have heard of this as well, is using an app called CoSpaces. CoSpaces is going to transform what we do from content consumption to content creation. CoSpaces allows us to create our own 3D worlds and then throw them back into here for other people to experience. So Adam's starting to do some things now with CoSpaces and also into our secondary school, where we're getting kids creating their own environments and then being able to put these on and have other people experience that environment as if it's real life. So you can create a village or recreate your school and then take a virtual tour with CoSpaces. And CoSpaces even allows you to be walking. So even though I'm not physically moving, I can tap and walk forward in CoSpaces, enter through doorways, look around, see what's going on. It's pretty cool. So if you haven't looked at it, look up CoSpaces and check out how you can transform some of what you're doing into creation-based content as well. I'll throw my cards down here. So if you want to reach out and get in touch with any of us, come and grab a card. We're always happy to answer questions. You can also follow us on Twitter. So at Mr. KempNZ, at atorrens84. Heather is Techstar Teacher. Our Techsperts are TechspertsEDU. And our school hashtag again is SAIS Rocks, ROCKS. At any stage, feel free to ask the kids questions as well. They're probably better and more honest than I'll be able to be anyway. They'll tell you exactly what it's like. There's a few kids just wandering around here now, so if you do want to ask them anything, please do so before I bring them up the front and we finish off. All right, Techsperts, you've got less than a minute now just to finish up your conversation and then collect back the VR kit. Techsperts, before you come back to the stage, and the attendees here as well, I'd encourage you to ask the Techsperts specific questions before they come back related to the Techsperts program. So Techsperts, please tell the people around you, what does Techsperts mean to you? What opportunities does it give you, or has it even given you already? And what would you like to do in the future based on the opportunities that you've been provided already? And remembering that we're in the 3rd month of school. We're only just starting. So Techsperts, you've got 2 minutes before I bring you back. All right, I'm going to steal the Techsperts back from you now. If you want to have a group photo with the Techsperts and the people at your group, please do so. Say thank you very much. And then Techsperts, don't let the attendees take any of our stuff. I'm watching them. We've got to bring them back to us. I'm going to count them, and the doors will be locked until we have them all back. So make sure we've got them all back. Techsperts, come back and sit on the stage at the front here. Huge fan of student agency and student voice, and too often as teachers we cut that out and we remove that from students. If you can take anything from this, I encourage you to go back and let your students lead. Give them the opportunity to lead learning, and to be honest, it's pretty cool because these guys now go into their classrooms and the teachers say things like, "Johnny, can you fix the Promethean board?" And they go, no, we've got a video for that. And they send them to something that they've created, because it's no longer acceptable for our staff to be asking basic questions like that. These guys are the ones that make our movement forward. They transform what we are trying to achieve as a school, because whatever they say goes. It's really important that we give them the voice and the choice. So what I'd like Techsperts to do, can you stand up? And I want everyone to give the Techsperts a round of applause. All right, Techsperts, look out, give them a smile and a wave. Yep, I've been told to come over for a photo really quick. Okay, we're looking somewhere. I think we're looking at the front. Oh, in the middle, the man waving. Oh, he's still going. We haven't finished yet, Mr. Torrens, come back. He's still waving at you. Do as you're told. Okay, so just before, if you guys sit back down again, just before we go, because I still see we've got 2 minutes and I'm really good at making use of every single piece of our time. I do want to thank you guys very much for coming. I hope you learnt something from these guys today, and I hope you will reach out to us. By no means do we feel that we are doing anything different to any other school, but we felt it appropriate that we put students in front of you just to inspire you to go back and let your students do the same thing. And I know that many schools are already doing this, and it's nothing different, but for some people it is different. And I think that message is really important, that these guys are capable, let them lead. And apart from that, I want to thank you very much for coming. Reach out to us, we're happy to help at any time. Thank you very much. All right. You can lead us off.